Hello everyone. Let's put what the topic is right out front. Do not use a Surefire WarComp muzzle device as a silencer / suppressor host because it will carbon lock on you. Okay, that's the message. That's all I got to say. You can go watch something else now. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, I'll show you. 2 weeks ago, I went out with, this is technically my favorite gun. I have on it a Surefire SOCOM RC Mini. It's a 7.62 suppressor. And believe it or not, I had never fired it on this gun, ever. So I decided I'd go to the range and try it, see how it would function. And I put the suppressor on it, no problem. Took 20 shot rounds downrange, see how it did. After I got done shooting those 20 rounds, I tried to take this off. It would not come off. It was carbon locked on. Fortunately, I was able to put it back in its case with the suppressor on it. Got it home and doing a few minor taps to the base of this with a hammer, and then using a pair of really good pliers, I was able to break it loose from the WarComp. If I had tried to shoot more rounds than I did, I don't think I could have gotten that off. And I would have been one of the horror stories of YouTube, because I would have had to have sent the muzzle device and this back to Surefire to get them to take it apart. I saw 2 stories on YouTube that went that way, but I fortunately didn't have to do that. But I highly recommend do not use this as a suppressor host. As just a muzzle device, works great. Because it has ports on the top of it right there, it easily, keeps the muzzle rise down. Of course, this is a 300 blackout, so that isn't really an issue to begin with, and I am going to change it out on this gun. But let me show you the big reason why you do not want to use it as a suppressor host. Before we go too much further, one thing I've got to point out: it doesn't matter what kind of a suppressor you use. Any suppressor, and I repeat, any suppressor is capable of carbon lockup. So just be aware of that. My SOCOM suppressor could very easily have locked up for other reasons. I've seen some of them do it. But this is a particular issue with the WarComp. It's almost a guarantee the WarComp will lock up. Notice the ports and where they are right here, this set of ports. You'll notice they're in the collar area, right? See the collar area? This is a muzzle brake, and the 3-prong is the same way as this. The 3-prong flash hider. I don't have a 4-prong, so I can't speak to it. But the 3-prong flash hider, definitely, it has these rings. There are no ports in the collar area of it. And that's what makes the big difference in what will happen. That's what the inside of the suppressor looks like at this particular time. And what happens is you take this and you drop it in like so, and it gets seated in there. Well, because of these ports being where they are on this, it's expelling gases into the carbon or into the collar area of the suppressor. and not into the tube itself. This has ports on the top of it, but both of the ports and the other ports that are common to this, they're all in the main baffle area of the suppressor. So, it's a non-issue. You don't have gases coming up into the collar area like you do with the WarComp. So, my recommendation is, if you're going to be using a suppressor, especially if you're going to be using it all the time or for long periods of time or a lot, get something like the muzzle brake, or get the three-prong flash hider that doesn't have the WarComp ports in the collar, and you should have a whole lot less problems with it. A side note, to get this off, it's a job. What I did was, I took it, I boiled water, I put the water in a soup can. This is my soup can right here. I put the water in a soup can, hot water, and then I just dangled the barrel into the can for a good 3 hours the first time, till the water got lukewarm. Then what I did was I boiled more water, put more boiled water in the can, and boiled it for another, and then boiled the end of the barrel for another 2 hours. After that, I was able to break it free. But everybody needs to remember one thing. You're putting on a Surefire suppressor or a Surefire muzzle brake or muzzle device of some kind. What's the standard? 20 to 30 foot-pounds of torque is what you should have used to put it on. So even once you get the Surefire or the Rockset softened up, for lack of a better way of putting it, once you get it softened up, it's still going to require quite a bit of torque to get that muzzle brake off. So just keep that in the back of your mind if any of you were thinking about removing one of these. The gun I showed you earlier, my AR-15 300 Blackout pistol, is one of my favorite guns. I have not removed the muzzle brake on it yet, or the WarComp on it yet, because I have another gun I'm needed to work on first. That's what this came off of, which is a 6.5 Creedmoor AR-10. So anyway, I don't want to make this too long, but I did want to show you why this was such an issue.